We're just trying to get you that.
All right.
Oh, you did?
We will call this Monday, August 21st, 2017, regular session meeting of the Somerset School Board to order at 7:30 p.m. Apologize to those of you waiting for the late start. We're late coming out of our special session. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The district mission is developing learners, empowering futures together. The district vision is to become a premier community, bridging learners with their passions and pathways. Our core strategies are enhanced learning, advanced services and operations, engage community through partnerships, and cultivate professional growth and leadership. Board members, there are some protocol reminders there for you. And next we need to approve the agenda. Is anyone willing to make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Patty. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Courtney. We have a motion made by Patty Schachner and seconded by Courtney Perkowski to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes unanimously 5-0. And once again, I did not take roll call because it's not listed. Tasia, could you please do roll call?
Yep, Brian Moulton, Katie Thermos,
Here.
Marie Kolbe,
Here.
Nancy Dressel,
Here?
Courtney Kirkowski, Bob Gunther, Patty Schachner.
Here.
Thank you. So we're on to section 2, general reports, and the first item, 2A, is the superintendent's report. And perfect timing.
Not much going on here, that's all I have. Actually, just a couple of things. Today we've had new employees back, and it was a very good day. I only spent a little bit of time with them, but Trish and the crew had them all day, and we have about 40 new hires, or 30?
We had 40 at our lunch today.
Okay, is that with mentors and that also?
Yeah, we invited the mentors to join us.
But, good crew. A lot of good information. I spoke to them a little bit about the strategic plan and our speaker that's coming in. And had to hand out a few more books that people have missed. And tonight we're gonna talk, or we're gonna hopefully accept a strategic plan for our next 5 years. The next step after that will, you'll see these in every nook and cranny of this district, and it's something that we have to keep out in front of everyone. That's kind of our next step, besides choosing the results that we're going to work on. We have a cabinet meeting tomorrow where we'll shape up. I've got, I think from 3 of you, I've got ideas, 3 or 4 of you, I've got ideas on what you thought for results, and we've got the core planning team, and then we'll kind of dose it with where we're at with what we think we can accomplish this year, because we're going to go for probably 3 or 4 that are easily completable. That doesn't mean we're going to stop working on everything else. That just means that those 3 or 4 things are going to get some extra attention to them. And as we travel through the next 5 years, if one result isn't picked until the last year, doesn't mean there's probably going to be a bunch of work done on it beforehand. And that's typically what happens. The other thing I want to mention is on the 29th, we have Mark Scherenbrock here, that's the author of Nice Bike. Please feel free to invite any community or business people. We'll start offering that to some of our supporters out there, that if they'd like to come and hear Mark speak, it's probably a once in a lifetime opportunity. This guy's the best of the best. So feel free, if you know of somebody who would benefit the cause or is tied in with us somehow, to I'm going to invite all the bus drivers and people like that to come on in and hear this, because he's just got a great message of building trust within our organization.
Is it gonna be in
It'll be in the
NPR?
NPR, yep.
And what time is that at?
That's at 9:30 on Tuesday.
And is it an hour or 2 hours?
Between 60 and 90 minutes. That's all I have. Sure.
All right.
Unless you have some questions about
Anybody have any questions for
anything
Mark?
there, we covered a lot last week, and today already.
All right, on to item 2B, financial reports. Employee wage increase information. Let's see what's included in here. Does anybody have any questions for Dave?
Dave, so we're gonna do the motion later on, so we can talk more about it then, or?
I was actually looking to see if there was a spot in here to do it.
I think. I don't see it. So. In summary, we went through a lot of scenarios, or a lot being three, at least three. So yeah, we did more than three, and Dave did an excellent job of sharing with us some very helpful information and seeing how we compared to surrounding districts. Top of the scale, bottom of the scale, comparing 1.5, 2%, 2.5, a range from a 1.1 to a 3.8, where we would fall in honoring the comp plan that's already in place. So we sincerely hope that in having looked at all of that, we need to be cognizant or concerned about or conscious in making decisions moving forward, because we know we're gonna have an insurance change coming this year, actually, based on this year. So we'll hopefully, in Dave's recommendation or in what he has put together for us, we've come to a consensus on. We can't make a motion, but we can share what we've kind of thought. We're gonna follow with the teacher's compensation plan and aim for the 2% on all other employees. So the average ends up being about 2% across the board, which of course means some are lower, some are higher. Thank you, Dave, for all your comparisons for us. We had a lot of questions for you, and you were great in pulling together what we needed. There's always gonna be more questions, but you've given us a good base. Thank you.
And I would just add that we are going to be doing an HR audit, and we're hoping that we can get better feedback that way from the pros who know how to put together the compensation plans.
So we'll make sure that that's an action item for September. But I think with the consensus, we can move forward with the budget at the annual meeting as planned.
We have to.
Not a lot of choice.
Nope. No choice there.
All right, the next item on our agenda, item 2C, is school board member reports. Thought we could share about our board retreats with consultant Dave Metzen. The board met 2 Mondays in July to work with our consultant. On the first evening, we collectively reflected on 4 questions. And on the second evening, we did some team building and some prioritization. And coming out of those 2 retreats, we've agreed to set 2 growth goals for ourselves as a team, as the Somerset School Board of Education. One related to relationship with the board and superintendent, and one related to accountability. And we'll be doing that in September. Is there anything else that board members would like to add to that?
Katie was a really good guide for blind people.
And
then good.
That was a great,
It was
the
good.
trust exercise, being blindfolded was, it was really, really good. And for myself, Bob led me around blindfolded, and I don't like to be blindfolded walking up and down hills, and he did a very good job. So we learned a lot about each other. It was a great exercise.
It really was. It was a- I like We all bonded.
We bonded, yes, we did.
We learned things about each other. We aren't so different.
Mhm.
Yes.
The annual meeting is coming up, Monday, September 11th. Is it at 8 PM?
Yes, that was what was decided on last year.
And it's
I'm
here.
not sure why. Why did we do that, but we did.
So that's an opportunity for our entire community to come in and learn about our school district and have a voice in our process for the next year.
Absolutely.
So please promote that event with your contacts within the community. Any other reports from school board members?
Only that I hope, Dr. Weezy, you had a chance to meet with some of the other soups in your position with CISA, because they might help us in providing an HR assistant thing to get going after we've done our
Oh, yeah,
thing.
yeah, we haven't had
Any meetings?
the rush back yet.
We had a meeting this past week with a bunch of funders, and we were able to accumulate enough money to train one person in every school district in St. Croix County and Pierce County to become a mental health first aid facilitator. So we're pretty excited about that. We raised $45,000 in one meeting around a table with 5 people. It was probably one of the most, it was a great meeting to be at, and it was amazing. So we're moving ahead with that, so hopefully Somerset, every school district gets one free person, but they're looking at possibly, if you wanna send the bigger school districts, will get 2 because of the need. And then one of the caveats is to focus on coaches. So to make sure that the coaches are the ones that have the most interesting relationships with students, and that they are more informed about mental health, so that they know who to refer to when crises happen. So it's very exciting, and then having someone in each school district, then they will also be able to train family members and staff and that, but it's a week-long, $2,000 professional development opportunity for someone, so hopefully you pick wisely.
When you say coaches, you mean focusing on coaches or advisors, or becoming coaches?
Like coaches that coach sports, or activities or whatever, so that within the school district that are gonna be dealing with kids that struggle with addiction. And what do you do to support them when they're caught? What do you do to support them when they tell you that this is going on at home? Our coaches all have lots of things that they hear from the students that they serve, but not necessarily the tools to deal with it. So this is an opportunity to focus on that.
And they found that that is the area where the need is the greatest, with kids that are involved in the sports?
Yep. Yep. And all our coaches know everything that's going on.
Mental health doesn't discriminate.
When is that training?
The training is, we still have some nuts and bolts to do, but it's looking like it's gonna be the last week of January.
All right.
We're excited.
Can
Katie?
I just pretend like this is a school board member report, but just add, because I missed it on Mark's report. Do we have any enrollment numbers? Enrollment numbers?
Don't have any yet.
Okay.
So
Thought
what
we were
they,
gonna get those in August.
well, what they have is the last, what we had at the end of the year, so it
Yeah,
hasn't
well,
changed.
this time of the year, it's the whites of their eyes. We don't know who's, a lot of times, people come in last day, first day of school, here's my 12 kids, whoops, I forgot to enroll them. Or we find out a week later that, another family moved out, and they don't always tell us that, so, it's really, I haven't heard any indication of up and down yet. I would say we're pretty close to where we ended right now, until we get those first day counts. And then really they're not accurate until the first week of October. Usually start here and go down here, but. So I have nothing with enrollment. I'd be guessing.
Hey, Dawn.
No, now it's cold in here, what the heck?
All right, we're now on to item number 3.
But Katie, further to that point, like, we had 3 kids enrolled today, and so at the elementary, so if you wanna wait until the school year starts to get an accurate
I hope it wasn't open enrollment.
number. People are like, yeah, I meant to do that sooner, I'm like, yeah, it's never we get to do it.
You get some really interesting, people come into the district at this point in the year, it's really some interesting situations.
Some just moved here and some have not just moved here.
All right, next we're on to item 3, open forum. We have the opportunity for public comments. Anyone wishing to participate must have completed a red card that's
My fault, not over there.
not over there. So we have not received any red cards at this
Mark that
time.
down, she made her
Did anyone
first, she
have-
made her first mistake.
Uh-oh, boy.
Unforgivable. Lucky for you, everyone there looks familiar and probably would speak up.
So is there anyone wishing to speak this evening during this portion of the meeting? All right, hearing none, we will move on to item number 4, enhancing learning. Our first item, 4A, is our high school student handbook, the second reading of it. We have a recommendation that we approve the high school student handbook as presented. Is there anyone willing to make that motion?
So,
Thank you, Marie. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Courtney. Are there any questions or discussion on the high school student handbook?
So, I just, on, page 8, when we or 18, I'm sorry, when we discuss the due process and include via email that parent can be notified, it wound up in the, if it was an oral notice, so can we just move that one sentence down to if written, it can be made by via email? Unless there was a reason that you wanted it in the oral.
I see what you mean there. I'm pulling it up, hang on.
That's
Oh, but
okay.
the sentence before it kind of covers the in writing.
Yeah, keep reading.
So page 8, Katie?
18, sorry.
Thank you.
And it's in paragraph number 1, notice of due process. It's highlighted there.
So what do you want different? I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Remove the via email there because they're talking about oral notice shall be given in person or by phone call. So it should be if written, delivery may be by U.S. mail, via email, or by personal delivery.
So you don't want Siri to take any messages?
No. Well, I'm.
I do use that page, don't you?
I think it was just putting the wrong sentence, that's all.
Yeah,
So it makes sense.
Do you see what she's saying there?
I might be on a different page than you are,
Page
but is it,
It's under notice,
Due process is the
Yep.
heading?
and then it says number 1, notice?
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Okay,
then if oral, comma, such notice shall be given in person. And she's thinking that via email maybe shouldn't be there because if it's an oral presentation, it'd be either in person or by phone maybe.
Probably just needs to be under,
Just
under
take it
there where
out
it
of
goes,
the
if written,
that's
may
all.
be delivered by mail or email. Is that where it needs to be?
Put it in the following after if written.
So take via email out,
Let's just put, strike it from,
so it should just
In
say,
oral.
given in person or by phone.
yeah. And then the next sentence, if mail, delivery shall be deemed to be completed at such time, no. If written, delivery may be by U.S. mail,
Or,
comma, via email, comma, or by personal delivery.
That's cool.
maybe
We
we
just
just,
move it. No, I really liked the change, the language changes to the other issues that we talked about. I think they was included in here as well. There it is, about consequences. I like that language. So thank you. This one is on page 7, but they put it throughout the other.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, so we have a motion made by Marie Colbeth and seconded by Courtney Kirkowski to approve the high school student handbook as presented.
With
I'll-
the one amendment.
Yep, and I made that on my copy, if we're,
Perfect.
is that good? Okay.
Yeah, are you okay with that, Courtney?
Yeah, I'm back with that. So Marie and Courtney are both willing to amend your motion
Well, I
to
could just do the
include the change in the
But we made the first one, so.
via email?
Yep.
All right, so Marie Colbeth and Courtney Kirkowski have made a motion and seconded to approve the high school student handbook with one change to the via email on page 18. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes unanimously 5-0. Item 4B is our virtual education handbook. Is anyone willing to make a motion to approve the virtual education handbook as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Marie. A second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Courtney. Any questions or discussion on the virtual handbook? All right.
That's good.
So we have a motion made by Marie Colbeth and seconded by Courtney Kirkowski to approve the virtual education handbook as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion passes unanimously 5-0. Item 4C is to approve the Achieve handbook. Is anyone willing to make a motion to approve the Achieve handbook as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Patty. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Katie. Any questions or discussion on the Achieve handbook?
I just really like the name Chief.
Yeah.
I think it's really appropriate. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for for Shannon and the PLC leaders and the thoughtfulness that they put into reviewing these handbooks and creating consistency. All right, all those in favor of approving the Achieve handbook as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion passes unanimously 5-0. Item 4D is the 2018 Laude system. We have a recommendation that the school board approve the 2018 Laude system as presented. Is anyone willing to make that motion?
I will.
Thank you, Courtney. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Katie. Any questions or discussion on the Laude system?
I appreciate the changes after our conversation. Thank you.
It'll be good to see how that plays out the next year.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I'm excited for our students. All right, so Courtney Kirkowski has made a motion and Courtney Thermos seconded it to approve the 2000, Katie, yes, Katie Thermos, Courtney Kirkowski and Katie Thermos, to approve the 2018 Laude system as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes unanimously 5-0. We are now on to item 5, cultivating professional growth and learning. And we have our director and principal's reports. Who wants to go
Hello,
first?
me. No, we're just giving you a quick overview. Mark had mentioned that we had our new staff here today, and we also launched our peer mentor program. So great news, DPI has awarded our consortium again of New Richmond, St. Croix Central, and Somerset $25,000 to promote the care and support and valuing of our new teachers, knowing how important that is to give that support. So I've attached for you a document showing our certified staff via DPI receiving a mentor as a new teacher to our district. You'll see what position they were hired for and who their mentor is. This afternoon we invited them, or today we invited them all to lunch. It was fabulous. Lots of great social connection, relationship building. And then they came back here and spent the afternoon going a little bit deeper into some of the moving parts largely nuts and bolts at this point, but we have a built-in system throughout the year. So on the second page, you'll see some of those supports that we offer our new teachers. And times when we come back together formally with mentors throughout, although there are systems in place for bi-weekly meetings and a structure in place to help the conversation stay on track, helping them not only grow in their own professionalism, but also talk about kids and helping each of the kids grow as well. So we just wanted to make you aware that today was a really great day, starting with all staff and a great morning, and then we had a fabulous lunch. Many of our new people did not know that General Sam's existed, or where it was. So we had a long train of cars going down there, and General Sam's was thrilled about that too. Great day, great crew. Anything to add from the back row?
It's always great to get new energy and fabulous crew I think we've got coming on board this year. It was fun.
You can always see the energy in the mentors too, as they get to spend time with the mentees and see how fun it is to kind of share their knowledge with them.
And I got time to spend with new support staff who are, they're coming with some great experience, so I'm excited that they're on the team. And they're very full of energy as well, so they're great additions.
And thank you for the second page. It's nice to see.
Yes, so you're saying on these days, on September 12th, October 10th, educator effectiveness support, is that for the mentees? Or
So what we do is, in order to make sure that our new staff is very aware of the tools and the components and the resources that they are required to participate in and that we use across campus, the first part of that meeting, the second Tuesday of the month, is for all staff as an option to attend to receive support.
Okay.
Our new to district staff members are required to attend because that is the way that we can ensure they are getting the information they need. So that's why it's divided into two columns. The first column is really opened up to all staff. We personally invite anyone who's in a summary year, so their third year in the district where that's kind of like put the cap on it, to make sure that we are walking them through and making sure they're feeling complete understanding. And we've done that every year since we have had educator effectiveness here on campus. Our conversations have changed quite a bit, which is really cool, because instead of saying push this button, upload this, connect it to the standard, now we're talking really about the standards and the indicators and what research says. Our new staff is required to attend, others it's optional, but everyone gets a calendar invite to those. And then on the second half, they stay a little longer, and that's when we can talk about things that are important to the culture here on campus. And you'll see there's a couple spots where we don't have that first half. It's because during that time of the year, it's kind of just like, it's gray. It's a gray area where they're doing the work that they do in the classrooms, and it gives us an opportunity to meet with the mentors then at those points.
Any questions for Trish or the other administrators? All right. Item 6 is engage the community through partnerships. I don't see any agenda items there. So we'll move on to item 7, advanced service and operations. The first item 7A, is our strategic plan. So we have a recommendation to approve the 2017-2022 strategic plan as presented. Is anyone willing to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Patty. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Courtney. Any questions or discussion on the strategic plan?
I think the document looks great. Is every employee gonna get an electronic copy, or is there gonna be a plan to have this in every classroom?
You know, some components of it will be, like that front cover, that'll be laminated, and that'll be in every room in the district. Otherwise, it'll all be electronic. The core team and you folks will get a interchangeable piece. The principals will get an interchangeable one here, because as we go through this, there'll be some moving parts to it, and it's nice to have a document like that. So, yeah, I don't want to kick a dead horse, but I think this is one of the greatest things we're gonna accomplish here, that we have already, and I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about having this as a tool to begin the school year. It's a rally point.
And then, my next question is, how is it gonna be, you know, as part, Marie and I and Nancy, we're part of that core team, but how are we getting it out to the whole community,
Well, that's the-
especially that page?
Yeah, well, again, that's part of the strategy of a communications result in there too, is, you know, how do we get this out? Now, typically, what I've done in the past is, anywhere I go, anywhere I speak, you know, I always lead off with the district strategic plan. And I would say that any opportunities you get to us to get in front of people, you know, whether it's open houses or anything, is if we're up, if an administrator has a microphone, boom, we go to this first. And just always keep it out in front, and it's always out in front of us.
Can I remind you that we have seen a prototype of the calendar as well?
Oh,
It'll be going out, and it is all over that as well. It's really happy. So that'll be going out too, just a reminder.
awesome.
I'm
I
excited
might
for
just
that.
see that.
I know, me too.
Oh my goodness, new lunch calendar.
Yeah.
And a
I
calendar.
It's a lot.
Did we accomplish something last week? So let's go home.
The lunch thing alone has been huge. I cannot believe how many people are commenting on the lunch. The choices, that I hope that it meets it or exceeds expectations, because people are really excited about
Yes,
it.
they are.
The strategic plan, Mark, I would just like to commend you and your administrative team for coming into our district and getting a sense of where we were at in our strategic planning process and in our climate and culture, and being responsive to that, and helping us back up our bus and invite our community into the process, and being responsive through the process. And administrators, I know that the teams that you led, you were very responsive with those teams and adjusting to where they were at. And I just think that it was a really great process that is building a culture that is gonna launch us forward. So I'm very grateful to all of you. Was so impressed that Dave Gerberding led a group. Look at that smile. So I really want to commend the administrative team for leading us through that process. I think we've got just a really great plan to move us forward. All right, so Patty Schachner made a motion to approve the 2017 to 2022 strategic plan, and Courtney Kurkowski seconded it. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any against? And the motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Next, we're on to item 7B, which is policy 2150, mission, vision, and motto of the district. And we have a recommendation that the board approve the updates, or the updated version of this policy as presented.
I'll
Does
make
anyone-
that motion. I
Thank
think
you,
it's
Marie.
Fabulous.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We're gonna go with Patty on that one. All right, so any questions or discussion on that policy?
Can we rename it?
We did.
We did.
We did.
In the doc,
Yeah,
in the
The
document.
document. Okay,
No,
so
it's
by
only in the
accepting it,
document. The document itself says the.
so by approving it as presented, it will be renamed to 2105 mission, vision, motto, and core values.
Mission.
No,
Oh,
sorry,
vision.
mission,
Motto.
motto, and core values of the district.
Mhm.
I can't read from there. All right, so motion made by Colbeth and seconded by Schachner to approve policy 2105, mission, vision, and motto of the district. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes 5-0. Next, we have item 7C, the human resources audit proposal. And I think we received a folder shared with us.
Yeah, it was in email. Do you
I'll
have a
walk,
recommendation?
well, I'll walk through these and, very quickly for, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version of each one, and you can have some time to digest it too. You know, it's, again, we don't have to make a decision on it tonight. I'd like you to take a look at these, and, you know, 'cause there's some significant expense to this too, but when you look at what we're doing, you know, we're trying to right the ship here in an area that we struggle with. So the three vendors that I had responses from is an outfit that works through JA Counter, and then also Springstead, who is a national firm, they dabble in a lot of different areas, and then McGrath Human Resources Group, who's done work locally, I shouldn't say, well, St. Croix County they've done work for, and the principal of that group, Victoria, she's done work, she worked in schools. So that's a big plus there. However, you know, the price varies with, you know, I think the quality of work we're gonna get. JA Counter's group was $22,500, and again, these are pretty close estimates of, I think, what our final tab would end up. Once they see all the information and data that we have done, you know, we're not starting from square one. The Springstead group was $15,200, and again, they're providing, you know, $15,200, they have no tie-in to our handbook. You know, you got the Cadillac with McGrath's proposal, and JA Counter and Springstead are pretty much the same, where they're, you know, gonna go through, you know, the data collection, classifications, the descriptions, basically set up our, you know, help us with our position titles and descriptions. Where McGrath comes in, you know, they're gonna do classification, functions, a comp study, position description, development, and then they're also going to be, would also have a component here of revising our handbook, so everything collates and makes sense. But they're, you know, they're at the top end. Just to do the classification of the comp study is $22,500, which is right in the ballpark with the other two. But then when you look at the position description development, which I believe includes, all of them are fairly similar, about 85 positions they base their numbers off of. And that was an additional $4,600, and then the employee handbook rework was $6,250. So they're a total of, they're, you know, roughly about 10,000 higher than the other, they're 33. You know, Dave and I haven't gone through these with a fine-tooth comb yet to just see, you know, I think we have so much information. Again, it's not like starting from scratch. You know, obviously McGrath, I think, would give us some very good, credible, hard data. I think if we went with JA Counter or Springstead, we would have to be blending a lot of our information, our work in with theirs. So, and therein lies maybe some credibility issues. You know, if you have someone come in from the outside, they're typically experts. You know, if we do it from the inside, it's always suspect. So, I would hope you take this and let's just digest it over the next week. And then, I think we'll have a better handle on saying, you know, what we really think we could do JA Counter or Springstead at this rate in a system that way. The thing I don't like about McGrath's is their calendar goes out through the year. You know, they're taking a whole year to do this study, and, you know, it took us a year to do a study for 2,800 employees, so I don't think it should, in the last district, so I don't think it needs to take us that long. I'd be more in favor, if we wanted to go with McGrath, if we could shorten up the timeline. I believe that the JA Counter and Springstead is like a 60 to 90-day window that they would have this work done. So, again, you're talking, I think there'll be a difference in quality.
it would seem like the handbook would be kind of a big deal, and the Springstead one doesn't look like it includes the handbook by the notation at the top of it.
Yeah, and those are just my notes that, as I went through, just what do they include, what don't they? And you can see on the,
Oh, they both.
on their price page,
Okay.
you know, neither of them do make reference to the handbook.
Okay.
So then I can see, you know, why you'd be put off by an hour's time or a year's time. But I'm sure it's more important to take a little more time and have everybody felt like they were heard. And I know that's what.
So totally don't disagree with it
Right.
at all, you know.
So, but I agree, a year seems like a very long time.
I mean, if we're leaning a bit that way, I'll, you know, I'm gonna make some phone calls just to see how we sharpen up that timeline. I have other questions for these two groups now too. So, but I
Mhm.
really wanna sit down with Dave and walk through this and,
Yeah, I need to read it too.
cause we've got, like I said, 3 or 4 people here that are dealing with HR, so there's a lot of bones to dig up.
I think, yeah, the two with no handbook and then the cost, but then if you ask them to put handbook, what would their cost be? I think, is it that they didn't think to put it in, they don't have those resources,
Those are questions I need to ask.
Okay, because then that would answer the question too, because I think they should at least be given the opportunity to adjust if they need to. And same with McGrath, without a handbook, what would their price be without a handbook?
Well, and it is broken down there. It's, as you see on the front cover there, I think you got my notes on the cover. Or is it,
It's on page 22, 20 as well.
did this stuff come through on?
Should I have?
Oh, okay. My notes in the
Oh, here
right
it is.
hand corner,
Yeah.
it was like 6,200 for the
6250, yeah.
handbook work.
Okay. So what did the RFP say for this?
Well, basically, gave them the number of employees.
Okay.
It was basically verbal as far as just
Oh,
saying,
okay.
here's what we're looking at doing.
Okay.
And they all, you know, per our conversation, captured, you know, what we're looking for, a comp study and job descriptions,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
This one just had more options.
I'm not sure which one, but one of them mentioned benchmark districts. Is that something that we identify and then they do the
And
comparison?
we work with them on
Work with
that
them.
too. You know, and again, kind of a unique situation. You always want to compare to your conference, that's what you join a conference for. But we've got some unique pieces here with, you know, trying to compete with the Metro labor force and things like that, so. And that's, you know, with McGrath, you know, they've got experience here with St. Croix County,
Mhm.
which, you know, they're already acclimated to the area, so I think some of their data pulls will be easy to do. And I do like the idea that she's a school person.
So just feedback for our September agendas. Would you like to see the HR audit on the agenda for our work session for more discussion and then action for a regular session?
I'd like to have it on the work session, just so we can button it up and then
Yep.
put it on for action
Okay.
next meeting, so we can get it rolling as soon as possible. I just have more questions to ask these outfits.
So if we have questions after reviewing them, we should email them to you?
Yeah, definitely, yeah, definitely. And, you know, McGrath, you know, it might be a thick packet, but, you know, about 70% of it is PR.
Alright, any other questions for Mark on that? All right, our next item on the agenda, item 8, is the consent agenda. Is anyone willing to make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through H?
So moved.
Thank you, Katie, is there a second?
I'll second
Thank you, Courtney. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, items A through H, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes unanimously, 5-0. On to item 9, general information. Don't see any items there, so we're on to item 10, adjournment. Is anyone willing to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Patty. Is there a second?
Me.
Thank you, Katie. Any concerns about adjourning? All right, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion passes unanimously, 5-0, and we are adjourned at 8:15.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, we're late.
Yeah, that was 45.